What is up, ladder climbers? Antoine VOIDED here from Elevate to the Unknown, Next Gen Heights. And the Wade report, guys, it is Monday morning, February the 23rd, 7:25 a.m. Central. And I need you to pay attention this morning because this weekend changed everything. Friday at 10 a.m. in the morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, the Supreme Court, they struck down tariffs in a 6-3 ruling. $133 billion collected in tariffs, guys. The court said those dollars were taken without authority. By Friday afternoon, a new 10% tariff was announced. By Saturday morning, that number jumped to 15%. That 15% tariff takes effect today. At midnight tonight, the new tariffs hit every import coming into this country. But that's not all. The same day the tariffs get struck down, GDP came in at 1.4%. Wall Street expected 2.5%. We got barely half. And inflation, the Fed's favorite measure, came in at 3%. That is the wrong direction, guys. That is the wrong direction. Crazy, huh? This is the economy that we are in right now. So let me say it again. The economy is slowing down. Prices are going up. And new tariffs take effect at midnight. I want you guys to type whiplash in the chat if this weekend gave you economic whiplash. I got a chance to see all that. I'm like, what's going on Friday? Oh, I was watching PDP podcasts and the tariff announcement from the Supreme Court came in. Everybody was talking about it. I was like, man, we already had the show. So figured we would talk about it today. But guys, how y'all doing? Hopefully you guys had a fantastic weekend. But before we get into the data, make sure you do me a favor. Smash the like button. Do it right now. This show is about to save somebody's career this morning, okay? This is the Daily Climb. Let's look at the data. But before we look at the data, let's see who's all in the house. We got NC Worker in the house. We got Big Suggs in the house. We got Aisha in the house. We got Darren in the house. Sandra's in the house. Andre Oliver is in the house. Good to see you. STI's in the house. The Life of Cam, my man, is in the house, guys. To see you guys chatting it up this morning. You and Big Suggs. And Aisha was in the house early this morning. Aisha was working all weekend, getting stuff done. Good to see you all this morning. Got a good show for you guys, okay? Let's go ahead and jump into the data this morning, okay? Here's what happened in 72 hours. And I need you to understand this because it affects every single paycheck in America. Friday morning, the Supreme Court released a 6-3 ruling. The Chief Justice wrote the opinion. Two justices who were appointed by the current administration voted against the tariffs. The court said the emergency power law does not give the president authority to impose tariffs. That law is called the IEEPA. It was signed in 1977. No president had ever used it for tariffs before. The court said those two words in the law, regulate and importation, cannot carry that much weight. Okay. Now here's the number. $133.5 billion. That is how much was collected under these tariffs through December. That's a lot of money. Penn Wharton estimates the total refund liability could be as high as $175 billion. But here's the problem. The court did not order refunds. Did not order refunds. One dissenting justice called the refund process, quote, a mess. Trade attorneys are saying it could take months, maybe even years. I want you guys to type 15 in the chat if the replacement tariff caught you off guard. Okay? Because within hours of that ruling, a new executive order dropped. 10% global tariff under Section 122 of the Trade Act of 1974. By Saturday, that number was raised to 15%. That is the maximum allowed under the law. And it has a 150-day clock, which means it expires July 24th unless Congress extends it. I want to play a video for you guys, okay? I want to play a video, guys, for you guys from CNBC. Check this out.
The Supreme Court said essentially that the administration does not have the authority that it said it had to just unilaterally declare tariffs without congressional authorization.
The Supreme Court's ruling on tariffs is deeply disappointing.
The power to tax goes to the legislature. If you want to put on tariffs, you have to get a trade law passed.
It certainly weakens Trump's hand, but it certainly doesn't mean that the tariffs are over.
Broad tariffs that the president imposed, the reciprocal tariffs and the so-called fentanyl or trafficking tariffs, were not authorized by the statute the president used. 3 justices said, yeah, you could, and 6 said, no, you can't.
The court basically found that there was no such national emergency, that the administration had not proven its case, that in fact that particular act had never been cited before as a reason to impose tariffs, which it decreed as taxes. There's been the White House's contention that exporters will essentially eat the tariffs. Numerous studies have said, in fact, that it is U.S. consumers and businesses that are, in fact, paying the cost of those tariffs.
Even his supporters said, I don't know that we signed up for this. You know, anything we buy is more expensive.
Now, here's what this means for positioning, guys. The Yale Budget Lab says tariff costs for the average household will drop by about half, down to $600 to $800 per household in 2026. The Tax Foundation says families were paying about $1,300 extra. So there is some relief, but it is not zero. Section 232 tariffs on steel, aluminum, automobiles, copper, those are still in effect. Now, let me tell you about a small business owner in California who runs a distillery. When the original tariffs hit, the owner spent $400,000 on automation, redesigned the entire supply chain, and now the tariffs are struck down. But that $400,000 is gone. The owner told reporters, quote, "It's too late, even with refunds. That investment cannot be undone." And then, well, and this is the part that nobody's talking about. Over 800 businesses formed a coalition called We Pay the Tariffs. Not our customers, not China, American businesses. Okay? Nobody's talking about that. Nobody once said anything about that coalition. Now let me talk. Let me connect the dots for you guys. The tariff uncertainty is creating massive demand in 3 career areas right now: trade compliance specialists, customs brokers, and tariff attorneys. These roles are surging because every company that imports anything needs help navigating 3 different tariff layers: Section 232, Section 301, and now Section 122. That is a career opportunity hiding inside the chaos. I want you guys to type tax if your company is paying higher costs because of tariffs. Type tax in the chat. Now, tariffs are one tax hitting the economy, but there's another tax that just arrived, and Wall Street named it. Okay. I want to show you guys. Stay with me on this next segment, okay? Listen to this. There's a company called Akamai. They are in Boston, headquartered, and they help run the internet, content delivery, cloud security. They beat their earnings estimates. The stock dropped 9 to 12%. Now, why? Why were you beat and the stock drops 9 to 12%? Well, we already talked about this last week. It's about the future projections, right? We're no longer in the what can you do for me now? It's what can you do for me in the future? Well, the reason why is because the cost of memory chips for AI infrastructure doubled. Their capital spending is jumping from around 18% of revenue to 23 to 26%. The company did everything right and still got punished. Wall Street is calling this the AI tax. And here's how it works. If your company is a collector, you build AI, you sell AI, you are Nvidia, you are the hyperscalers, you win. Okay? If your company is a payer, you have to buy AI infrastructure just to stay competitive. Your costs go up, your margins shrink, and you get punished even when you perform. Now stack that on top of what we just talked about. Tariff tax at 15%, inflation tax at 3%, AI tax squeezing margins. That is a triple cost squeeze hitting American companies right now. And guess who pays when companies get squeezed? Workers. Now, the man who built one of the most important AI coding tools in the world just went on a major podcast last week. He is a lead engineer at one of the biggest AI companies. You guys don't know who it is, do you? I'm going to show you. Top cloud engineer said his product is getting more advanced. He is warning that AI could disrupt computer-based jobs. His name is Boris Cherny. Okay. Listen to what he says in this podcast about AI and jobs. Check this out.
Clearly, the life of a software engineer has changed dramatically. It's like a whole new job now as of the past year or two. What do you think is the next role that will be most impacted by AI within tech, like, product managers, designers, or even outside tech? Just like, where do you think AI is going next?
I think it's going to be a lot of the roles that are adjacent to engineering. So yeah, it could be like product managers, it could be design, could be data science. It is going to expand to pretty much any kind of work that you can do on a computer because the model is just going to get better and better at this.
Let me translate. The person who built the tool, who has every reason to be optimistic about AI, is warning that AI agents will expand to pretty much any kind of work you can do on a computer. And in this interview, he said the word painful. He said the job title software engineer will start to go away in 2026. I'm telling you guys, that's not me saying it. That's him saying it. This is the person who built the product. This is the person who built Claude Code. And this is why the smart money is rotating. A Wall Street investor coined a new term this month, called it Halo. You guys remember the game? Halo? Well, Halo stands for heavy assets, low obsolescence. Heavy assets, low obsolescence. Here's what this means. Investors are pulling money out of software companies that AI might replace, and putting it into companies that make physical things like Exxon, things like Caterpillar, things like Walmart, things like McDonald's, things like Starbucks. These stocks are up 10 to 17% this year. Software stocks are down 26 to 34%. The investor who named this said something powerful. AI can't make a burger. AI can't spin up 1 trillion cubic feet of natural gas. You can't type in a box and have the output be a ton of copper. That's Halo. Type Halo in the chat if you understand this. Type Halo in the chat if you work in a heavy asset industry. You guys remember when we talked about the Dow? Dow, old companies, NASDAQ, new companies, tech companies. Which one is leading right now? The Dow. Where are the assets going? Dow. Where's the money going? The Dow. Who are the winners? Caterpillar, Deere, all these heavy assets companies. Now, I have talked about the great rotation on the show many times. Halo is what Wall Street is now calling it. Same concept. Physical skills are gaining value. Digital skills are being repriced. That does not mean digital skills are worthless. It means you need to be the person who manages the AI, not the person who competes with it. Now, I want to show you the human cost, because behind every data point is a real person. A woman in her 40s was laid off from a major tech company in late 2023. More than 2 years later, she is still looking. She burnt through over $50,000 in savings. Crazy, huh? Over $50,000 in savings. That's a lot of money, guys. You guys may not think that's a lot of money, but that's a lot of money. $50,000 in savings. This is the article here in Business Insider. You could burn through $50,000 covering an unemployment stint in today's market. More than 2 years later, she is still looking. Her washer and dryer broke. For the first time in her life, she had to set up a payment plan. She told reporters she is reselling antiques online for $500 to $1,000 a month. And she said this, "I don't want to say I've even given up." Another professional in her 60s, down to $2,000 in her account, had to start a crowdfunding campaign. Took over, on over $20,000 of personal debt. 8 months before she finally landed a position. A third in her 30s, laid off from a major e-commerce company, had $25,000 in emergency savings under 12 months before it would be gone. She told reporters the job search feels like, quote, a ticking time bomb. Crazy, huh? That's the economy that we're in right now. Another article that we came across this morning. What the job market's freeze means for workers and employers in 2026. We'll get to this one. But here's the data behind these stories. I want to share this with you all. Okay. This is the data behind the stories. 45% of Americans do not have a 3-month emergency fund. The median time on unemployment is now over 11 weeks. And 25% of people looking for work have been searching for more than 27 weeks. That is over 6 months. These are not lazy people. These are experienced professionals caught in a market that shifted under them. The tariff squeeze, the AI tax, the frozen job market. It is all connected. I want you guys to type stuck in the chat if you feel squeezed from every direction right now. Okay? Type stuck in the chat. But here's the thing. We don't just identify the problem on this show. We follow the money. And right now, the money is moving. Let me show you exactly where. I want you guys to stay with me on this segment, okay? We know the money moves, man. You got to follow it. And there's always going to be opportunities when you follow the money, guys. Bain, the private equity company, they released a annual private equity report. And the numbers are alarming. $3.8 trillion in unsold assets. 32,000 companies sitting in private equity portfolios. Average hold time is now 7 years. That is the worst since 2008. Now, why does this matter? Because 40% of companies held by private equity have been there for 5 or more years. When PE firms hold companies that long, they start cutting. there's hiring freezes, there's layoffs, there's budget compression. If you work for a company owned by a private equity firm, you need to pay attention. Now, Nvidia, they just invested $30 billion in OpenAI. That is not a random number. That is a flywheel. Okay? I want you guys to take a look at what they're going to be talking about this week for Nvidia. I told you guys it's going to be an important week. Okay?
Something big is happening next week. We'll get earnings from Nvidia. Tony Wong manages T. Rowe Price's Science and Technology Fund, which includes most of the Mag 7 in its top 10 holdings. He writes the following: Nvidia is range bound because the first AI wave is priced in. Breakout requires proof of a second demand leg. Tony joins us now for more. Tony, welcome. I was reading through some of your research and you talked about the difference between a product cycle and a factory cycle. Can you just spend some time explaining the difference between the two?
Yeah, so I think that what's really exciting is that we have this agentic inflection that is happening. And so in terms of what I think is going to be important for next week, I think Jensen's been amazing at forecasting what's going to happen next. And so to me, like, you know, the product that they have coming, meeting this inflection in terms of AI demand, driving the token cost lower, and, you know, creating a lot of demand for inference on that side as well. So I think that's what's exciting and what I'm going to be looking at.
Here's how the flywheel works. Okay? I want you guys to understand how the flywheel works. Nvidia invest in OpenAI. OpenAI buys more Nvidia chips. Nvidia revenue goes up. Nvidia invests more, and the cycle accelerates. Wednesday this week, Nvidia reports earnings. Wall Street expects $65 billion in revenue, $600 in total hyperscaler capital spending. Polymarket has a 94.5% probability that Nvidia beats expectations. That is the most watched earnings report in market history, guys. Would you guys type flywheel if you see the pattern? If you understand the pattern, if you've heard of the pattern before. Now here's the hiring data that confirms the squeeze. A major job search platform just released the annual report. And the headline is low hire, low fire. The job market is frozen. Healthcare accounts for more than half of all job growth. The tech job postings are 1/3 lower than early 2020. And here's the critical number. Only 0.7% of skills are, quote, very likely to be fully replaced by AI right now. That means 99.3% of skills still matter, but the fear of replacement is driving the market more than the reality. Smaller cities are now outperforming coastal markets for job openings, and tech companies are raising experience requirements, asking for 5+ years instead of entry level, while the other industries are loosening requirements. The market is splitting, guys. And if you are in the right lane, you are fine. If you are in the wrong lane, the road is getting narrower every single month. So where are the right lanes right now? I got 4 of them with salary ranges and free certifications that you can start this week. Before we get there, but hit the like button on this video, on this live stream. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you are new here. If this show is giving you the intelligence that you can use, make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the like button, guys. Very much appreciated. The algorithm, the YouTube algorithm, it does not care about quality. It cares about engagement. So help me help more people see this live stream by hitting the like button and you hitting the subscribe button, especially if you're getting value from this live stream, okay? Let's move on to the next segment. I want you guys to stay with me on this one. It's a good one because I know you want to know. Where are the opportunities? Here are 4 opportunity lanes right now. Lane 1, AI infrastructure, not software. Physical infrastructure, data center technicians, electrical engineers, HVAC specialists, fiber optic installers. Nvidia's ecosystem alone is driving $600 billion in hyperscaler spending. Salary range, $65,000 to $350,000 depending on the role. Lane 2, trade compliance. This is the direct result of what happened this weekend. 3 active tariff layers. Section 232, Section 301, and Section 122, plus $133 billion in potential refund litigation. Custom brokers are going to be needed. Trade compliance officers are going to be needed. Import analysts are going to be needed. Tariff attorneys are going to be needed. Salary ranges, $55,000 to $350,000. Lane 3, halo industries, heavy manufacturing, energy, materials, airlines, agriculture equipment. The market is rotating capital to these sectors right now. Physical skills are appreciating in value. Salary range, $55,000 to $250,000 plus. Lane 4, energy storage, 21% growth in 2026. 70 gigawatt hours of deployments expected this year. 187 gigawatt pipeline, 125,000 jobs projected by 2032. And Texas is the #1 state for energy storage. Salary ranges for this lane, $50,000 to $186,000. Now, I came across an article on Business Insider. A 24-year-old software developer did something very, very smart. I want to share it with you guys. When smart people do things, I like to share it because it gives you guys some ideas on how to do certain things. The article is called "I Pivoted from Software Engineering to AI, Taking a Job at a Startup and Moving to San Francisco Transformed My Career." This is Jay. Okay. Guess what he did? He cold messaged a company founder on LinkedIn. He did not send a resume. He sent completed projects, things that he built. Proven. His abilities, demonstrating work. Had a conversation with one of my ladder climbers this past week. She was asking me about, how can she demonstrate her AI knowledge that she's learning? So you got to record it. You got to put some projects together. This is exactly the same thing. You can't just send a resume and think that people are going to know that you're really good at AI. You got to show completed projects. You got to send them work. You got to demonstrate that. How do you do that? Well, you can do that via video. You can do that by completing projects, having a GitHub, show them your work. Well, the company never asked him about his degree. They asked if he knew Python. He showed them the work. He got the job. And a hiring executive at a major recruiting platform had a warning. He said, "Your AI tools are doing the same thing for everyone. Your effort to stand out actually makes you blend in." His advice: use AI as a career coach, not a resume writer. Use AI to run mock interviews. Get brutal feedback. Then bring your human skills to the actual conversation. That was a Business Insider article as well. It's a fantastic article. If you guys want to look at that article, go to Business Insider and check out. Here it is right here. Where is it at? Oh, here it is. Let's get there real quick. It's in AI. Where's my man at? Anyway, he's in here. I'll share the article with you guys. You'll definitely see it in the newsletter. It was a fantastic article. He talked about how he uses AI and how other people should use AI as well, too, and with him being a recruiter. So funny how when you read so many of these articles in the morning, they all start to get twisted. All right, where is it at? Yeah. All right, I'll share it with you guys in a news article, in a newsletter today. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about certification deadlines. Microsoft Fabric Analytics certification. Free. Expires February the 28th. That is 5 days from now, guys. Okay, 5 days away. Google Cloud Gear, free. Registration closes March 11th. Cisco AI courses, free through March 26th. We got Aisha, who signed up for one of these courses. We had Alaquandria, who spent last week working on these courses. But it's free through March 26th. And Google, they just launched a new AI professional certificate on February the 19th. 8 hours of content. 3 months of free for Google AI Pro subscribers. These are your moves, guys, right now, this week. Okay? Now, I just showed you 4 opportunity lanes. Salary ranges from $50,000 to $350,000. Free certifications expiring in 3 days. But here's the question. Do you know which lane you belong to? Do you know which lane you belong in? That is exactly why I built the 2026 Career Protection Playbook. Business intelligence translated into career strategy. This free playbook shows you your risk zone for AI automation, the 5 skills that actually matter in 2026, a 30-day quick start action plan, a weekend action plan with 5 specific moves, and a daily climb newsletter delivered to your inbox Monday through Friday at 11:30 a.m. Central. You guys just heard the AI tax is real. You just heard the tariff squeeze is real. The professionals who survived 2026 are not waiting for permission. They are building career insurance right now. If you want access to it, the link is in the description. Download it today. Now, the playbook that I built, the 2026 Career Playbook, it shows you what to do. The Career Accelerator 90 is me making sure you actually do it. I just showed you that a 24-year-old cold messaged a founder and got hired. I showed you that AI tools are making everyone's resume look the same. The difference between where you are and where you want to be is not more information. It is implementation. It is discipline. The Career Accelerator 90 is my 12-week live coaching program. Small group, maximum of 12 people. Weekly Saturday calls at 10 a.m. Central. Private community, over 30 templates and AI execution agents. We built your positioning and we will build your positioning from the ground up. Okay? With your work. You're going to do all the work. The beta pricing is $997. It goes to $1,400 after the beta cohort. We start March 16th. There are 7 spots remaining. Next Gen Heights /Accelerator. Link is in the description, okay? And if you want the community piece right now, if you want the strategy calls, the networking, the accountability, the Saturday Patreon calls, okay? This past Saturday, we had 6 Patreon members report wins, 6 in one session. One member holds a level 3 federal acquisition certification and mentioned her credentials. Within 60 seconds, another member sent a LinkedIn connection request. A third member said, I need your expertise. That is not a YouTube comment section. That is professional networking operating in real time, all across the board. Patreon.com/Black Heights. Link is in the description, okay? And here's the thing. If you cannot catch this show live every single morning, make sure you are subscribed to our newsletter. Every weekday, you get a full recap of everything that we covered, the data, the stories, the strategies, delivered straight into your inbox Monday through Friday at 11:30 a.m. Central. Link is in the description. So far in the show, we looked at where the money is going. We looked at the opportunities. Now, let me show you what is coming this week. Because the calendar this week is pretty loaded, guys. Stay with me on this next segment, okay? So you guys understand exactly what's going on this upcoming week. All right. Before we look at the week ahead, let me show you what is happening across the water, across the pond in the UK, because many of you guys do watch us from the UK, okay? Graduate level job openings in the United Kingdom just dropped below 10,000. First time since they started tracking in 2016. That's down 19.1% in one single month. That is not just a UK problem. Here in the US, total jobs created in all of 2025 were revised to 181,000. A major job platform reports openings per unemployed person are now 1.0. The entry level ladder, meaning starting from the bottom, is breaking. There is no bottom. Okay? And it's not just here in the United States, it's globally. I want you guys to type invisible in the chat if you feel like the entry level jobs are disappearing. Type invisible in the chat. Here's this week's calendar. Monday, today, the 15% tariff takes effect at midnight. Customs and Border Protection just announced they will stop collecting the old tariffs starting Tuesday at 12:01 a.m. So there will be a transition period where old tariffs stop and new tariffs begin. Every importer in America is scrambling today. On Tuesday, there's a State of the Union address. Watch for signals on trade policy, economic agenda, and workforce spending. On Wednesday, the event, Nvidia earnings, $65 billion is expected. If they beat, the AI flywheel accelerates. If they miss, the entire AI sector recalibrates. This will be the most watched earnings report in market history. Okay? It will be. And it's all because of Nvidia.
So what will investors be looking for that could get the stock moving again? Joining us now is John Belton, portfolio manager of growth portfolios at Gabelli Funds. John, good to see you.
Nice to see you, Mike.
You know, the street has a pretty good fix on these numbers. It feels like, you know, the earnings estimates have been rock solid, rising. Jensen Huang's always optimistic. So what do you think the street is hoping to hear, wishing to get clarity on?
I mean, earnings expectations rising, I think, understates it. I'd say more like exploding.
Right.
But no, I mean, I think the Nvidia quarterly earnings reports, the street has become accustomed to very consistent beats, guides above the street. I think part of the reason for the consistency is that the demand is so high that they're supply constrained. I think that remains the case. I think what the street really wants to hear is beyond this quarter, next quarter, what is the demand outlook into next year, particularly given that announcement we just heard on OpenAI. How long is this cycle going to last? How high is this cycle going to go? I think those are the types of things that from here are going to drive Nvidia stock.
And what do you think is built in? Because, you know, the stock has been sideways for 6 months. Obviously, the valuation is compressed as those earnings estimates have gone up. So, I mean, do we really need to have, you know, one of these huge estimates for 2027 to get it moving?
Well, I mean, I think for it to work on earnings, you certainly need a beat. I think the size of the beats over the last couple of quarters has been increasing. So I think you could get a big beat here. I think expectations are pretty high, to be fair. I think the magnitude of sort of quarterly revenue growth they've been reporting has also been expanding. So the business has been accelerating from that standpoint. You should get that sort of indication here. But again, I think the street wants to hear, you know, I think it's going to be interesting to hear Jensen talk about agentic software development. I think that's sort of the new, he started to preview that last quarter. I think we're going to hear a lot more there given what Anthropic has recently been releasing. But that seems to be the next new really killer, you know, multi-billion dollar use case for AI.
You heard it right here on the Daily Climb. What to expect on Wednesday. Friday and Saturday, Berkshire Hathaway releases its annual report, and a new CEO writes his first letter to shareholders. That letter will signal how the largest investment company in the world sees 2026. Also on Friday, January PCE data. That is the Fed's favorite inflation measure. If it comes in above 3% again, rate cuts are off the table for the foreseeable future. Okay? But you guys type signal in the chat if you see the pattern forming. All right? But guys, this is exactly what we break down in the Patreon, this sort of information. I send a weekly report. We don't just talk about what just happened. We don't talk about, you know, the problems. We talk about what is coming, what you can do about it, and how you can position yourself before it moves. Saturday, we had members networking, exchanging LinkedIn connections, sharing certifications, celebrating wins, 6 wins in one call. That is the power of a network. Patreon.com/Black Heights. Okay, link is in the description. Let me bring this home. 3 takeaways from today's show, guys. 3 takeaways to start your beautiful Monday. Number 1, the stagflationary squeeze is real. GDP is at 1.4%. Inflation is at 3%. 15% tariffs take effect today. The Fed is frozen. They cannot cut rates because inflation is too high. They cannot raise rates because growth is too slow. Protect your income. Build your emergency fund. Position from strength, not desperation. Number 2, the AI tax is real. Even companies doing the right thing are getting punished. You need to know if your employer is an AI collector or an AI payer. If they are a collector, you are in a strong position. If they are a payer, your margins and your job security are under pressure. Ask the question. Okay. Number 3, money is moving to physical assets. The halo effect. Heavy assets, low obsolescence. AI infrastructure, energy storage, trade compliance. The market is telling you where the jobs are going. Listen to the market. Everything we covered today, the tariff whiplash, the AI tax, the halo rotation, the 4 opportunity lanes, the free certifications, all of it in your inbox today at excuse me, today at 11:30 a.m. Central. Oh, I've been battling this little runny nose, man, and it got me. But it will arrive in your inbox at 11:30 a.m. Central. Subscribe to the Daily Climb newsletter. Link in the description, okay? And if this show gave you just one piece of intelligence that you can use today, make sure you hit the like button, guys. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and share this with somebody who needs to hear it. We do this show every single weekday, 7:25 a.m. Central. If you know someone who's scared about their job, worried about layoffs, wondering what is happening in the economy, send them this show. This is the intel that they are not getting anywhere else. You're not going to find this on CNBC. You're not going to find this on Bloomberg. You're not going to find this on CNN. You're not going to find this on Fox. Okay? Tomorrow on the Daily Climb, we're going to break down the State of the Union. We're going to listen to the words that are being said and try to determine what signal is being sent from those words and what it means for your paycheck and your career. You don't want to miss it. We'll be right here at 7:25 a.m. Central, okay? The market is neutral. It rewards preparation and positioning and discipline. This crisis that we are in, guess what it does? It creates opportunity. Your move matters. Keep climbing, guys, okay? Keep climbing. That's all you can do. Keep climbing, keep crushing it, keep working hard. And it's going to be a fantastic year. Aisha in the house, Topaz in the house, Big Suggs in the house, Take Middleman's in the house. Good to see you guys. Man, y'all was light on the chat today. Look at that. I didn't scare y'all too much, did I? Oh, gosh. I didn't scare you guys too much, did I? Topaz says, congrats, A-Wade. What am I getting congratulated about? Oh, I see. I didn't scare you guys too much, did I? All right. Guys, make sure you read the data. Make sure that you make the moves. But more importantly, stay consistent this week, all right? Stay focused and make sure you get it done. We'll see you guys on tomorrow morning. All right? We'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. If you guys need something in the Discord, send it to me, okay? Take care now. Bye-bye.